No D-Live. Hello, my fellow patriots. This is Alex with Disabled Vets Perspective, and welcome everybody to a wonderful show. We're going to be talking about a few things. It's going to be a cut loose and a little bit of the wild side video, because nobody needs to hear the news, because the news is always the same. But anyway, without any further ado, or don't, as I would always say, ladies and gentlemen, Pete the Patriot. Hey!
Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm doing good. How you doing?
No, really, how you doing? I mean, really doing.
I'm doing. There's a problem here.
All right, cool.
Look at your life.
Oh, now we're going to have audio issues, right?
No.
Okay. It was just spotting a second. Real quick, I want to say hi to my folks over here in the chat that already joined me this morning, this afternoon, this evening, whatever the hell it is, wherever you are and your time zone. Lynn, I'm glad that Pete dragged you over here. I hope you used your ear, because that's the way I would have it done by my grandmother when I was young. Blue Lou, Duke, Jeff, good to see you guys. Donnie Newman, Zombie 5 Dumpster, Angel Lawrence 52C. Hey, C. Let's see, Dirty Rotten Imbecile, you got in here first, pretty much. Grateful Grandma, welcome. Margot, always welcome. Deidre again, and the Conservative Patriot. How you doing? Anyway, I think Donna Dolly, how you doing? I think that's everybody. Everybody's repeating themselves. I see so many of the same people. Batteries Addiction slipped in here. How you doing? Miss Mary, welcome. All right. I think I got everybody. Anyway, so this show is, maybe there's going to be a little bit of news, but there's going to be a little bit of bitching out loud too. Jason Schmidt, how you doing? I want to start this thing off by talking about your favorite channel and mine, or host and mine, YouTube. Interesting things have happened. I just got approved for monetization, and I went through the list and I activated all of my videos, and about 90% of them were yellow flagged. So right. So
oh my god.
That, and the one that I put up yesterday, for one thing, it took 14 hours to upload an 11-minute video, and then when it uploaded, it went straight to the green instead of straight to the yellow instead of the green. So the games that they're playing they're just insane, really, because they sit there and say, of course we'll monetize you, and then they find a way to not monetize. And what they've done is they hit you with a yellow flag, and then they let your video wear itself out, and then they turn it on and say, oh, look, it's monetized, there's no problem with it. But by that time, nobody gives a damn about it. But the interesting thing is, they're still running commercials on the leading end, so they are making revenue on a video that they declare is not suitable for advertisers.
Absolutely.
I know, the hand to the face.
Absolutely.
Isn't it fascinating?
It is fascinating. And I don't know if you remember, I was uploading these short little videos called cue cards. They were 40-second videos.
Right.
And I uploaded 10 or 11 of them. Well, I'm pretty sure they've all been taken down as of this morning. So they just deleted 11 of my.
Yeah, those are dangerous, you know.
Yeah. 11 of my videos they just deleted that I'd known about. One of the videos that they deleted a few days ago had almost 200,000 views on it. And they just deleted it.
Well, do you have
So
your stuff backed up on BitChute?
no, I have it all. I have all my stuff on my computer
Hi. Say hi.
in files.
Yeah, I try to back up everything twice.
Yeah.
I definitely have it on the computer, and I keep it on the BitChute too. My
California. Did you see what the
Patriot penny.
California critic said? He said this is like watching a video through an
No, I try to ignore him at all
machine.
costs. Looking. Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, it's California cricket, by the way.
California cricket. I
Northern
apologize.
Tiger jumped in here and Tigger too. Yes. Yeah,
Hello,
we have to
Northern
get that
Tiger.
right until he changes that name.
That's funny.
But anyway, so the thing that I kind of find truly fascinating is I've heard that yeah, you finally adopted a puppy, Grateful Gremlin. That's great. That's the best way to be. So yeah, she's settling in. She's had her first grooming. Took it very, very well. We made sure that we had her for almost 2 months before we started to try to introduce her to a groomer and stuff like that, because I didn't want to feel like didn't want her to think we were doing something like giving her away. So got her used to getting baths and all kinds of stuff. Her whole first several months of her life were nothing but abuse. So it takes a minute to get them used to trusting and stuff, but she did great. But anywho, I heard about a lawsuit that somebody went after YouTube, and of course YouTube won. For one thing, they can keep you in litigation for years, and most people can't handle the financial burden of being in litigation for years. But they won the lawsuit because they used the double law protection that they happen to have still, where they can declare themselves a publisher and control the content, but then they can declare themselves a public forum and say that everybody has the freedom of speech. So they're using both laws, and with that, they were able to beat the lawsuit. But there is some serious criminality going on with YouTube and Alphabet, where they are literally stealing people's money.
Yeah.
They when they drop a channel, they keep all of the super chats that people put up, and they do that, and then when they tell you that you are not worthy of advertising, then they still advertise on your channel and they still make revenue. I'm just mind blown at the criminality that can be done right in people's faces, and there's no recourse for the little guy because we don't have the billions to take on a behemoth of the Alphabet Corporation. It's just really stupid.
And
it's like right now they don't even show the option for a super chat.
Yeah, I didn't see one. I didn't see that you had a dollar sign next to your chat thing down there. You also have to monetize the live streams. You know that, right?
American Joe, how you doing?
You know that, right?
Well, apparently I do now.
Yes, yeah. You can go into it separate.
Yeah, I'm still learning all this stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, if you don't turn the monetization on the live streams,
it
won't monetize automatically like an upload would do.
Right. Well,
So,
the thing is, when people do drop those super chats, YouTube takes 30% of that, and then it's like Russian roulette. If somebody drops that money and then all of a sudden YouTube decides that that's one of the channels they want to can, then they just keep everything. So they're keeping money that they're truly not entitled to. And I don't know how to get around it. It's hard to coordinate people so that you could actually do a class action lawsuit. I mean, it just,
But you also gotta remember
I don't know.
A lot of these people who have channels, they're younger people. They're not older people like we are, and they're not going to want. You know what? Oh well, I'll just find something else to do, or I'll figure something else out. They're not going to be pissed off about losing, a couple of $100 or $100 worth of ad revenue. They don't care. We care.
Right.
What we care about is the principle of it. It's not the money; it's the principle. There's principalities in this. Yeah, that's
I mean, there's flat out criminality involved.
That's right. I mean, I was talking to RRC, and he says that people like me. I was just part of the purge for that week. He goes, but there's people who have lost their YouTube channels that YouTube owes them hundreds of thousands of dollars for ad revenue that they never paid out, that they've earned before their channels were taken down. And like I said, if my channel got demonetized, that's fine. But people who gave me super chats gave me those super chats. They didn't give them to YouTube. They gave them to me. So if YouTube decides they want to keep that money, that's they're actually stealing from the people who gave me the super chat.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just a little allergic to bullshit. Just YouTube and all.
Oh yeah, well, and if that's the case, and they're not going to send me that money, they need to send it back to the people who did the super chats. And I already sent them an email about it, and I haven't heard anything. It's been 5 days, so I haven't heard anything back.
Yeah, well,
but you're right. That is criminal. It's criminal.
I sent mine in for review. Right. Well, I sent mine in for their review thing, and that'll take 3 days. So they know how to play the game. They yellow flag it for the 3 days while all of your views are taking place. They make their money off of your product, and then once they made their money, then they turn on your green light, and then there's nothing left to be done with that video. I mean, it's already worn out. It's welcome, and occasionally somebody may click on it just out of curiosity, but most of the time your views are done within the first 24 hours.
Well, first 18 hours.
It is just truly amazing. Right.
They say the first 18 hours.
So
it's your peak view time.
You can't win.
No.
Right.
I mean, I guess
and they know all this.
If you have some, ridiculous channel like some people have, where you watch it because it's like a train wreck every day, then they don't mind that. That's fine. But if you actually telling the truth about what's going on in the world and try to inform people, you're an enemy of the state or country or whatever the hell that they think. So
unfortunately, the reality is that the alphabet is truly an enemy of our republic, because they're trying to do many things to undermine the United States, and in a sense that's treasonous. When you support other countries over your own in an attempt to bring down your own, that's pretty bad. I mean, once it gets proven.
But you know what? Alphabet stock throughout all of this is still in the $1,200 range a share. It's because they got their fingers into so many pies.
Though.
I mean, it's they got their
but also
the
big bankers. Right. But the big bankers that control the stock market and the banks can keep things where they want them. Sergeant Bob, how you doing? Sorry about D-Live. It's not working.
Yeah.
Can't rely on them tube. Keep donating, going through PayPal. I got a nice PayPal donation the other day, and I was pleasantly surprised. That's true.
Drop it like it's got.
I sincerely appreciate all of the donations that people send to me. And I'm not bringing up this information to talk about gimme. I always feel weird about asking for money. My whole life, I've always done it myself, but the reality is, bringing this to you,
It's
I found
expensive.
it to be a truly a full-time job,
Yes.
usually about 14 to 16 hours a day, and I'm not kidding.
Yeah.
Right, and then you have to buy these platforms. You have to pay for different things, and all of a sudden you realize, wait a minute, this is it's costing a little bit of money to do this.
Yeah, you're
And
$200-300 deep into
I
the
was
month, and
hoping
you
that
haven't even did a live stream yet. You know what I mean?
yeah, that's just about exactly right. But
And then,
yeah, I
and
don't
then,
mind doing this. This is what I want to do.
yep.
I just would like it to be neutral. I'd like it to reach a point where I'd have nothing where I'm having to be forced to come out of pocket, because my pockets are pretty thin anyway. So, if I could reach that point where I was on neutral ground, where it doesn't cost me anything and where I don't need more, then that would be perfect. And I was hoping with this advertising that they'd let me go a little bit, $20, $30 a month, take some of the edge off. But no, they want to play their stupid ass games. And I'm going to expose it as long as I have a channel, because I'm using them as a host, but I do have backup channels. But as long as people are so reluctant to move elsewhere, then I'll do all I can to expose it here on their own channels, on their own platform. But eventually, when people move over to DLive and stuff, it won't matter what they do on YouTube, because there will be enough people on DLive to maybe put YouTube in a different category. Maybe they'll only have their cat videos and stuff like that. Yeah, drop it like a Scott spends more than $200 a month making videos. Yeah,
sure.
Doesn't take long.
Yeah, no, it doesn't. And if you're like me and you get angry really quick and you break equipment, it's even more. It's even more. But that's what they don't understand.
I would have to.
They say content. You're a content creator. Well, you know what? The things that we do, the hours that we spend on research trying to get the correct story out, the truthful information, the equipment and the platform that we have to use to do all this stuff. Unless we get 400,000 views a video, it doesn't pay. It doesn't pay anything through their advertising, and especially if they're taking 45% of the advertising money.
Right.
45% of advertising money and 30% of super chat money. So where do we make the money there? Right. We don't. We don't make the money unless we get tens of thousands of views a video.
No. I mean,
I didn't shoot it. I actually hit my microphone.
Stop shooting equipment like Elvis, Pete.
I hit my microphone with the AR-14 assault highlighter, and it broke the cardioid piece in the inside. And I'm just saying, I got angry when YouTube messed up my channel, and it happens. Now I'm back to my crappy first microphone. Hopefully this one holds out.
Yeah, I'm fortunate. There'd be no way in hell I could afford to replace a piece of equipment right now. So I am very careful. I'll go outside and kick a tree or something.
This was the first microphone that I bought, and the whole thing, the microphone, the stand, the cable, the whole 9 yards cost $30 or $29 off of Amazon. The whole setup. The one that I broke was quite a bit more expensive than that.
Right on.
It was a little bit more expensive than that. So
you chose poorly.
I chose very poorly, yes.
All right. Enough about YouTube. I don't know why you want to keep going on and on about it.
I don't know. You keep talking.
Next thing. I want to talk about this. I want to talk about this Jones cat over here in Georgia that says that he's going to be supporting President Trump. Well, I've said this before and I'll say it again. Part of the plan with the Democrats, I mean, this one isn't quite their plan, but it is to take Democrats and run them as Republicans. And then after they are elected and they are seated, then they change their vote and they'll or change their party and go back to being Democrats. You know, they'll say, oh, well, I can't agree with this. I'm going to be a Democrat again. Well, they've already made it clear that that is one of their plans. So people need to be vetting their candidates. I mean, for real, looking into these people, because there are going to be some of the nastiest tricks pulled, and they're going to get away with a lot of it because people are just too complacent and they don't take the time to pay attention. They see
That's
a
right.
sign on the side of the road, and then when they go into the voting booth, they go, "Oh yeah, I know him. I know him. I've seen that name." Well, they don't know a damn thing about him except for the fact that they had a sign on the side of the road.
Yeah.
So they got to look into it. But this Democrat dude, Jones, you know, God bless him if he's going to support Trump, because he's saying that the black community has definitely gotten a better end of the deal in this with President Trump. And it's fact. But the problem is, even if he supports President Trump and then all the people get behind him and say, right on, we're going to vote for him, we're going to help him out since he's helping us out, as soon as he gets to the other side of the election, he'll fall right back into his party lines, and he'll vote for the killing of babies and the restriction of movement and all the things that the Democrats are voting for right now. So, if he wants to do something and be effective, maybe it's time to put an R in front of his name and get rid of these ideas of killing people and all of the restraints that they want to put on humanity. Become a conservative and study it a little bit.
You would think. Yeah, I talked about that guy.
Speechless.
I talked about that guy.
Ladies
briefly.
and gentlemen, I have successfully made Pete the Patriot speechless.
No,
I want you guys to record this moment. I want you to mirror this video. This is important stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I have absolutely stopped Pete from speaking.
Okay, can I speak now?
Wow, he can really hold still.
Okay, I talked about this guy a little bit in my live stream. And I didn't finish what I wanted to say pretty much because everything was going sideways on me there. But you're absolutely right. And that just absolutely kills me to say it. That you're absolutely right is that they're going to see two things.
I know. I could feel the sting.
They're going to see his face. They're going to see his sign. And they're going to say, oh, yeah, that's the guy who supported Trump. And they're going to vote for him. It kind of makes me a little bit nauseous. I got that feeling in the throat, like I want to vomit a little bit, because he is going to go right back to the same ways that of the Democrat as soon as he gets elected. And I don't know why people can't see that. I don't know why people can't see that.
Right.
It's not that hard to do research. But, that's just me.
No, it's not. But the brain is so easy to manipulate, and we are going to be going over that tonight with this MK Ultra. The entire media, I mean, I don't want to get into what we're going to talk about tonight, but I'm just going to say the media is a mockingbird system, and we'll talk about it in detail tonight.
Yes, we will.
MK Ultra.
Yeah. Yes, we will.
Sergeant Bob says, please download the DLive app. And yes, please. Today, DLive is not doing well. But if you haven't yet, please go to DLive and sign up for Pete the Patriot over there, and also DVP.
Yep.
I'm going to grab my link.
I only need 47 more subscribers.
Bring it over here, but you've got to get. Wow.
47 more. That's it.
You're rocking the joint. I'm at 105.
I want to hit
right.
200 by the end of the week.
I dropped the chat there, or drop the link. That would be nice. I got 105. So if you haven't followed me on D Live yet, please do that. Because I'm telling you this, I've been saying it for a while. At some point, we will not exist on YouTube. It's reality.
That's
All
right.
you have to do is look at the signs. They're picking off the conservative channels one at a time. And pretty soon there will be one big purge, probably sooner than later. So what time tonight, Tigger? It would be 8 o'clock Central, 9 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Pacific Coast. So 9 Eastern, whatever time zone you are, just back it off from 9 Eastern.
And it's going to be on my channel.
Fact, Fiction, and Beyond. And it will be on Pete the Patriot's channel.
Yeah.
Right. All right. So anyway, just last thing to say about the Democrats is just be cautious and don't fall for the games, because they are games. They're going to pull all the stops, and they're going to do anything they can to cheat their way into this next election, including vote by mail.
Oh, good.
All right. So the next thing I wanted to talk about here, yeah, I know, just makes you go, what? But next thing I want to talk about is the coalition of governors from blue states that are getting ready to, at least the rumor is in the air, that they're going to rebel against the president when it's time to open the country. And they're going to keep their tyrannical rule in their states as long as they possibly can. There's a little tiny thing, some people may have heard of this, it's called the Constitution. And states cannot coalesce and form against the government of the United States. It's illegal. It's called treason. And it, in the most blunt terms, is actually called an act of war. It might sound something familiar, a little thing we had a few years ago called the Civil War. It was done the same way.
That's right. What's his name there? Bill Barr had just come out on a some interview or whatever he was saying. And I know he was exactly who he was exactly talking to was these governors, like the governor in Michigan, who's just going ape shit crazy about restricting people's lives for I don't know what reason. But he said that a pandemic is not an excuse to subvert the Constitution. He said it out loud. So he's basically telling these people, you can't subvert the Constitution because people are getting sick from the flu. And to stop doing it. Because the people that are in Michigan right now are pretty much, they're protesting in the streets. You can't, I mean, basically, you can't even step out of your house without being arrested. And I don't understand it. I just don't, I don't understand how, a flu virus can give a governor of the state the authority pretty much to put martial law in where you can't do anything. I don't get that. What gives them the right to think that they can do that?
Sergeant Bob, when did that happen? Sergeant Bob says, speaking of active war, B-52s line up on a runway in Guam along with drones. When did that happen? Because I'm wondering what's going on. If we're lining up the heavy hitters like that, usually they don't pull them out just to do jogs around the block.
Yeah, I believe it had something to do with Iran.
Yeah, yesterday.
Yeah.
Yesterday.
It had something to do with Iran or North Korea.
I think we need to be... Well, we just cut off funding to the WHO, and the WHO is in China's pocket. So I think that we need to be watching China more than anything else, because you can bet that China was skimming off of the American money going into the WHO and all of their cronies, and now all of a sudden they've cut their bank account off. So it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, but I mean that kind of money.
One thing about this deal with these governors, yeah, well, when they get billions from foreign aid, you know, I guess you're right.
Yeah.
But up here in Michigan, they started ticketing fishermen. You know, they're out in their boats. These people are hundreds of yards apart, maybe two people to a boat, and they're getting called in and they're being ticketed at the ramp after they come in from fishing. So what they're doing, we've got, I think it was a Michigan governor that stopped people from buying seeds, and also made it so that the buying of the American flag is not considered. Yeah, I'm getting to it, but she made it so that the American flag can't be purchased during this time also because it's considered not essential. Anyway, so the point is they are trying to bring people out into the streets. That would be a dream come true to them, because then they can say, look at all the chaos that the president has created. And then they can go in there with their police and their military and say, look, we came to the rescue of the community and we took care of those bad old people. So the whole thing is predictable.
Yeah, but are the military and the police willing to get shot over the purchase of an American flag? Honestly.
Well, I would say no, but look at the way the police are behaving. I mean, I have always been if you are giving your service in the defense of this country, whether it fire, police, military, medical, first responders, God bless you all. I support all of them. But my problem is these police take a vow and they take their oath to defend against enemies, foreign and domestic. Yeah. The police oath obviously is a little different because they protect and serve. But even in their own doctrine, it states that they do not have to protect you. So the fact that they're willing to go along with these governors of these tyrannical states and do their bidding, I have a real serious problem with that. Like the guy that was out there paddle boarding. Yeah, in California, the guy that was out, he's like 500 yards off of shore by himself and gets run down by police boats.
Well, why?
Why? I don't know. Think about this. We are in a national emergency. Yeah. Right. But we are supposed to be in financial straits. I mean, no commerce is moving or very little, but you've got people being laid off. Tax money's not going to be coming in, and they want to spend hundreds of dollars for the fuel of these big ass boats to come run down a guy that's 500 yards off a shore by himself and arrest him. This is way, way overreach. This is pure intimidation tactics.
Well,
Happy loves America. How you doing,
Alex?
But
hold on a second. There's always the chance that guy can give the fishies the virus. So he's not social distancing from the fishes.
Right. But also all of the contaminated shit that's washing into the ocean from San Francisco that's bringing the virus into the ocean. You know, they don't want him accidentally getting the water on him and carrying that virus back to shore. But the whole thing is stupid. And I'm at the point where I'm ready to say, you know, that's it. I'm done. I've had a great time and I'm going back to my life. My wife and I started our personal quarantine 2 weeks before anybody else, because before we knew what was going on, this was a sincere threat to my wife because of her lung issues.
Right. I
And
remember
it's still a dangerous thing if you have lung issues. But they have a cure for this thing. Even people with lung issues are being treated successfully with it before they even have to be intubated or put on a respirator.
that's
They're
right.
coming out of it. The Chloroquine is apparently it's a 10-day regimen, just like you would do a antibiotic. And a doctor that's been treating, he's up to 1,500 patients, the last I heard, that he treated with this stuff. And he says most of the patients didn't even require the full regimen. So like 2 or 3 days, and they were back to 100%. And not a single one of them had to be intubated. Even people that came in and that were in bad shape did not have to go on the oxygen.
Right.
So we've got a cure. It's time to open up. You know, if you start feeling bad, go see your doc, get your chloroquine, your hydroxychloroquine with your zinc. Stay away from CPAC if you have heart conditions, not medical advice, just,
That's what they
pay
say.
attention to what your doctor does. Tell them everything you got going on. Right. But let's get back at it. Let's decide that we're done and everybody go back to doing what they're doing. If we all start going to work and saying, let's do this thing, how many police is it going to take to shut down the whole community? I don't think they have enough.
They're not going to do it. Oh, sorry. Hold on a second.
Not enough people will join together.
No, and that's a huge problem. That is a huge problem. I'm sorry, Alex. Give me 1 second.
Intimidation and fear. That's fine. Intimidation and fear is good at keeping people restrained. And, at some point you just have to say that we're done. This was a lot of fun. We appreciate it. Got some good quality family time. We're done. And everybody just leave their house and go do their thing. They are busting people again. And I think this is California again. People that walk into their own yards. A couple of kids were lifting weights apparently in their front yard or on their driveway or whatever. And they got busted.
Busted.
I'm sorry, if you're coming onto my property, that's trespassing. Get the hell off.
What are you busting me for? What, honestly?
Well, apparently all those sweat droplets.
Yeah, you know what? I'm glad I don't run into any people in my city like that, because the F-bomb would be flying. Not that it doesn't now. It doesn't now. I think waiting in line to go into a grocery store is very 1920s Polanish. You know what I'm saying? We shouldn't be waiting in line to go into a grocery store because
lines.
of social distancing. Okay, if you're an adult and you can't figure out to stay 6 feet away from somebody, then be smart enough not to go in the grocery store. But don't put me in a line out on the street and have some 12, 14, or 15-year-old kid who's working at the Vons to tell me, oh, you stay and you go and you come in and you have to go over here and you do this. I've had more of my shares of FUs of telling people that.
Yeah.
I'm not going to deal with that. I'm not going to deal with it.
Yep. I agree. I'm beyond all of that. And, I live down here in Florida, and so far Ron DeSantis has been fairly careful. There's been some issues in some liberal counties, and it goes to show you that liberals want your freedom, all of it. Conservatives want to ask you to cooperate. There is a difference, but they're really pushing hard for this, taking away all the rights. Rooster Cogburn says that he's in California and it's not like that there. I know that it's not every single area, but these stories and stuff, they're real.
Now, when you got to go to the Walmart,
the problem is that it
is. You have to wait in line at the Walmart to get in.
Yeah.
Effie,
why the hell are people going to Walmart?
Exactly. Exactly. Effie put over there and said there were no arrests with the kids with the weightlifting thing. I don't care if there was no arrests or not. Those police officers overstepped their boundaries when they confronted those people. Period. End of statement. You can't tell me not to be on my property.
Yeah, they did not get arrested.
I don't care who you are. I don't care what the situation is.
I said busted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Busted.
But I use the word busted. I shouldn't have said busted because usually means arrested, but they were ridiculed and they were sent back in the house.
Yeah, they should not even have been talked to. They should not even have been talked to.
No.
If anything, the police officer should have honked the horn and waved at him.
Yeah. I mean, I live on 5 acres. You know, it's a family property. I've got my family that lives on this property with me. But I can't even imagine walking around on my 5 acres and having somebody come and tell me, oh, you got to get back in your house. I'm sorry. You know, I have a few very good choice words. For one, our property is posted for no trespassing. And that means no trespassing. It really means that cops can't just walk in our gate. No, it means they have to have a warrant or they have to have damn good probable cause. And that's what these other people need to say. Do you have a warrant? Do you have probable cause to trespass on my property? And if they say, oh, well, we came to warn you about weightlifting, oh, that's not good probable cause. I'm sorry, you're going to have to leave. But people will not stand up. They don't know their rights, so they won't stand up in defense of them. It's really frustrating.
Yeah, it is. It's ridiculous.
Grateful Grandma says the cops there are not going to do that to them. That's good.
I hope not. The police officers should get together. The police officers union, the head of the police officers union should get together and say, hey, you know what? These aren't laws. You're not asking us to enforce laws. These are things that you're pulling out of your ass that you want us to do because you think it's for the good of the people. Well, if that's the case, get your legislature together and create a law for us to enforce. Otherwise, I'm not putting my officers at risk. That's what they should do. Not like the governor of Michigan is going to arrest somebody for buying vegetable seeds after they come out of Walmart because they're not allowed to be planting in their garden because she said you can't go out of your house. Well, F her.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. If I was
officer, what is it when they're telling people that you can't fish? Yeah, I mean, but they don't want to lose their jobs. You know, it's just my job. I'm just doing my job. Well,
no, that's not bullshit. Your job. Your job is to enforce the law.
If they fire you, you can. Right. Right. Yeah. And if they get fired for not obeying an unconstitutional order, then they can sue and they can maybe get their retirement early.
That's right.
So there are ways around this. It's my job crap. I'll blow that up in a cop's face. I'll tell them point blank. My job was to go to foreign countries and kill people for the government. I followed my job, but I still didn't kill people unless they were part of an enemy combatant. You know, you don't do things just because it's your job. That's right. It's ridiculous. It just drives me crazy because I see so much tyranny and I see so much voluntary support of the tyranny.
Yeah, and you want to know what the funny thing is?
But yeah, I mean, telling people they can't fish.
This lady in Michigan, this governor of Michigan, is gonna wind up saying, "Hey, you know what? I actually like the fact that I can do all of this, that I can control all of this stuff, that I can tell people what to do, and they listen to me. I don't think I'm going to give up that power. I don't think I'm going to give up those
right
freedoms that I took and give them back to them. What then? What happens then? You think Trump is going to stand in and say, "Oh, you have to do that? You have to give it back to them"? No, he's not going to do that. So what happens then? We're going to keep all the
He
guns.
would be well within his power to do it.
No, he would not, because the states have individual rights. The states have individual rights. States' rights.
Yeah, but that's a mistake. That's a mistake that's being made across the board, though.
She is not.
Right now, it's totally different because we have all 50 states in a declaration of natural disaster.
She is not taking away your Second Amendment. She is closing down stores.
All right, go ahead and finish your statement.
She's closing down stores that are selling guns. That's not taking away your Second Amendment. She's telling you that you can't buy or you can't plant stuff in your yard. That's not in the Constitution. That's not in the Constitution at all. She's telling you that you can't be outside
freedom of movement
after a certain time at night. There's nothing in the Constitution that says that she can't instill a curfew in her city, in her state. You see what I'm saying? There's a fine line. There's a very fine line between what's constitutional.
The thing is,
and what's not.
there are when you interpret the Constitution,
yeah,
right. But all you have to do is step out of line on one constitutional thing. And right now, when you are giving fishermen tickets and sending them home, when you're telling people that they have to stand in a line in order to get their provisions for their home, if you are regulating what a person can eat and drink and things like that, that is restriction of movement. We have the First Amendment is pretty broad reaching. You tell people they can't worship at church, that's a strike against you. And when the country is under a full disaster declaration, the president can absolutely override the power of a state government.
Mm-hmm.
It's in there. It's under the presidential powers under emergency declaration,
right.
But he couldn't do it until there was a full nation and territories all have declared national emergencies.
Yes.
Once all 54 of these entities declare, then he can absolutely stand in and take over where a governor screws up. Absolutely. That's what people aren't aware of.
And here's
will he do it?
Say. No.
Don't know.
This is what I was going to tell you. Everything that this governor is doing in Michigan, there is no constitutional precedent for it, except for closing down the churches. That's the exception to her whole thing over here, because freedom of religion and the ability to worship is your first constitutional right. And she's taking that away from people. She's taking that away from people. And the president can actually call in the Marines and remove that governor. And not just the governor, but every legislature in that state. Every person who is in government in that state.
Right.
Until elections are held again. That's the Constitution.
But also, the police that enforce the law can also be removed.
Yes. Yeah.
I said law. It's not a law. The mandates.
The mandates, yes. And that's including the sheriffs who were elected. When I said every legislature, every legislator, that includes the sheriffs of the counties in Michigan that were elected. They would all go too.
Yeah.
And subsequently, you would have nothing but
that's what I'm
leadership law enforcement in that state that would come under the guise of the United States Marines. That's what she's looking at right now if she continues what she's doing.
Yeah. I mean, the overreach is astonishing, but I do get tired of hearing people say, "Oh, the president's being a dictator." Last time I checked, he's letting these people step on their own balls, even
That's
the
right.
ones that act like they don't have any.
That's
He's
right.
giving full power to the governors to destroy their own states. It's pissing people off, and they're saying, "Look at what President Trump is doing," but they're too blind to realize that their chain of command is their city leaders, their mayors, and then up to their governors, and then goes to the president.
That's
There's a
right.
chain of command. There's a process within a corporation. The managers are handling the states, and the CEO is handling the managers. But people are shooting the blame too far. They're going past their chain of command and blaming President Trump for it, when in fact it's the mayors of these cities, it's the governors of these states that are squeezing the freedom out of people.
Yeah, exactly right. And I don't know if you remember, Alex, we were talking a while back about how they're waiting for the day to call the president a dictator. Dictator Trump. Dictator Trump.
Absolutely.
And he's giving them every opportunity.
They've been pushing him to take more and more control.
And he's not doing it. He's not doing it.
Yeah.
You know what, Governor Cuomo, you need some more respirators? You order them from us, and we'll send them to you. And he's doing the same thing with every other state. You tell us what you need, and we'll get it to you if we can get it. But I'm not going to take over your state to do this. It's your responsibility as the governor to take care of your state.
Right.
You're talking about them stepping on their own nuts. They're stepping on each other's nuts because they don't know how to handle it. They don't know how to handle their own states.
That's rough.
That is rough. That is very rough. But it's the truth. You gotta
watch out for them nuts, especially on older people. You know, they can get pretty low.
They can get pretty low. You know, if you don't strap them to your ankle, you have a problem.
Well, it's going to be right. Well, you know, it's hard to say where else to go from here because I think we've covered all of the tyranny from top to bottom and all of the strange and unusual things going on and all the law breaking. I mean, at some point, as they say, it's the justice system. We need equal justice under the law. But when are we going to get it is the biggest question, because every time I turn around, I'm seeing another person get away with something that if they had a conservative or R next to their name, they would be railroaded.
Yeah.
And yeah. So when is the equal justice under the law coming? What signs are we supposed to look for to realize that we are at that point?
That's difficult. That's difficult to say because I said a little bit earlier about John Brennan. He's already been indicted.
Yeah.
But we're not going to see.
We're hearing everything, but we're not seeing anything.
That's what I was just trying to say. We're hearing about it. We're reading about it. We're looking at the articles. We're seeing what people are writing, but we're not seeing that thing happen. We're not seeing what we want to see as patriots in this country. We're not seeing John Biden or Hillary Clinton or Jim Comey or any of those other stooges be walked down the courtroom steps in handcuffs. Well, that's the problem. We're not seeing that. And by not seeing that, you are empowering these governors of these states during this unprecedented time to do what they're doing because there is no consequence for them to be afraid of. Shit, look what Jim Comey did. He lied about Hillary. He did this, He did that, he did this. Here's the proof. It's all right in your face. And he's over there taking pictures in front of Mount Rushmore or looking at the trees. Nothing happened to him. So what happens if I take away your right to come out of your house during this unprecedented event? Nothing's going to happen. That empowers people to do stupid shit. And that's what they're doing right now.
Well, they just.
Shit. Do you think that the governor of Michigan is ever going to be reelected to that?
I have to go back to the wet bar soap.
Yeah, exactly. The wet bar of soap. That done thing is already.
Yeah, I'd like to think no, but it's not. It's not who makes the vote.
It's who counts the votes.
It's not who votes. It's who counts the vote. So
But honestly,
those liberal cities, they still own all the liberal districts.
Well, I think things are going to change come this November. I can honestly say now, I think things are going to change this November. Not just because of Trump. Okay. It's not because of that. It's because the people who are actually living in these districts that have been run by Democrats for 50 and 60 years, that are still living in poverty, that are still living in squalor, that drugs are overwhelming their cities, that child trafficking and prostitution and abortion is rampant, and it hasn't changed in 60 years. Look at some of these conservative-run cities and say, hey, you know what? Why can't we have a governor who runs the city like this person does? Why can't we have that? Well, I'll tell you why. Because you keep voting for people who promise you nothing but blowing smoke up your ass. Things are going to change. And it's not because of Trump. That's because of the people's hatred for Trump that's gonna make them lose this election. Is they're going to say, you know what? As much as these people hate Trump, look what he did to the economy. Look what he did to the inner cities. Look what he did for the jail thing, letting people out of jail, and so on and so forth. None of the Democrats did that. Okay, I'm done.
Yeah, I mean I know it's just so many things.
There's so many things.
You know, again, going to that wet soap. The Democrats are squeezing so hard that shit's gonna fire out of their hands. But I know that part of this is that they are squeezing so tight because they want the people in the streets. They have to have events to justify their actions. So what they do is they create an action that's unjustified, and it forces people to act on it. And then when they act on it, they jump in there with their unjustified action and they say, we got to fix this because these people are going crazy. So they go in there and they arrest everybody. They shut down whatever. And then all of a sudden, their unjustified action has a legitimate reason for being instated. It's backwards.
Right. But you're making one critical thing that you're missing. One critical thing that you're missing. And this goes back as far as everything else. This isn't France. This isn't Germany. This isn't Hong Kong. This isn't any place else. This is the United States of America. And at any given time, you could have 3, 4, 5, 6, 700,000 pissed off American citizens armed to the teeth march on Washington and take over the entire state. The entire district of Columbia. At any given time, we can do that if we get pissed off enough. You got to remember the Revolutionary War. There wasn't that many people involved. Only 4,900 people, colonists, died in the Civil 3%. War. 4,900. Okay? Do that on a scale now. Is the only reason why the Nancy Pelosi's, the Chuck Schumers, the Adam Schiffs, and all these people they're stepping over their own nuts and stepping on each other's nuts, especially Nancy Pelosi's nuts, because those things hang down way past her high heels, to get guns out of the hands of the American citizens. Everything hinges on that. Everything. That's why Obama put the UN in charge of gun confiscation. That's why they want this one world order under Brussels. That's why they want all this shit to happen, is because they want the guns out of the hands of the dopes like me. The ones who will pick up the semi-automatic weapons and march on DC and say, okay, I've had enough of your shit. You're done.
Right.
You're done. Well, all their plans hinge on that. All of them.
Why do you think they spy on the people? They yeah, but the reason they spy on everybody and the reason they own all the media and all of the big tech corporations is because they know what they are doing is illegal. They know that they will push it to a certain point and the people will have had enough, and they know that the people will be coming for them.
That's right.
So they want to make sure that they can identify anybody who is congregating, any group that looks like they're amassing, and then they can act on it before there's a chance. So it's going to be like the Underground Railroad. When it's time to do the Tree of Liberty stuff, the people that would be involved with it are going to have to do a chain of communication that's literally on the ground.
Yeah, exactly. Do you remember what happened not too long ago with the guy with the farmland?
Do I ever what?
The guy with the farmland there, where his son went to jail. The Bundys.
Bundy?
Yeah. Where the people the Department of Home of Bureau of Land Management showed up in full body armor with automatic weapons.
Harry Reid.
Right? Yeah. Not Ruby Ridge.
Yeah, that was overseen by Harry Reid.
Yes, in Nevada.
It was the Bundy Ranch.
The Bundy Ranch. There you go. No, not Al Bundy.
Right.
Yeah, not Ted Bundy either. The Bundy Ranch, where the guys was having his cows eat the grass.
Right.
Whatever. That was the Pelosi's worst nightmare. That was Chuck Schumer's worst nightmare. 250 American citizens with legally purchased firearms pointing right back at them, saying that if you shoot, we shoot. That was the government's worst nightmare. And what happened? The government backed away. The government backed away. That's the government's worst nightmare. Now imagine.
Yeah, but they also backdoored arrests.
That's okay. They all got off. Nobody spent any time in jail, any significant time in jail.
Right, but that just shows what the government does, though. They're conniving bastards.
That's right. They just
take pictures of everybody and then go get them later.
But put that to the side. They could have opened fire on those people and started a war, but the American government backed down. The government of Nevada backed down. Harry Reid backed down because they never expected the people to come out armed. Regardless that they backdoor arrested them, they never expected the people to come out armed the way that they did. It scared the shit out of them, and they never did it again. That's why they try to sneak stuff in bills and put it into law.
Well, the other thing is, but they do this. They do this thing now where they control what you see and what you hear. So if another event like that happens again, it's pretty difficult to get the word out so that you can have people that will help you. So they know about these things. They use all that stuff as a learning experience too.
Sure.
So they learn how to suppress it next time, and then they can go in there more quietly. So we have to be aware of our surroundings and looking out for other people. And it helps to have a Patriot network like this.
It does.
You never want to be talking strategy or anything on a social network. That's just stupid. But
of course,
you have to coordinate things, quietly and the old ways with runners.
Mm-hmm. But you see, that's part of the thing.
Anyway, I think that's probably good enough. We're at an hour and 5 minutes.
Oh, geez, really? Okay.
Well, go ahead, finish up.
No, I was going to say that's one of the
finish up what you were saying.
One of the biggest reasons why that when they say that, oh, the government's going to come for you, they're not. Until they disarm us, they're not going to come and do the things that these people say that they're going to do, because nobody is willing to die for it. They are not willing to die to unconstitutionally take your rights away. There are some that are, but not against the amount of American people who are armed. There's just no way.
They expect the good citizens of this country, the conservatives, the law-abiding citizens, they expect them to do it voluntarily if they make a law. But,
really,
you know, there's certain points when breaking the law becomes the only option. So they can pass whatever they want, and we can tell them to kiss our ass, just like the vaccines. But
yeah, pretty much,
you know, that's a totally different story.
Oh, yeah, no. All
right, man. Well, thank you again.
Okay.
Yeah, we're not going to get into vaccines because we'd have another hour.
Yes.
But, all I can say is hell no, we won't go.
I can't go another hour.
No. All right, man. As always, thank you very much. You are a awesome co-host, and I appreciate you.
Thank you.
To all of my moderators, you guys rock the joint. Appreciate you, and all the folks that chose to join us for this hour and almost 10 minutes. Thank you very much. Make sure you come see us tonight on Pete the Patriot's channel. We're doing Fact, Fiction, and Beyond, and hopefully D-Live will be up and running then, so you can follow us over there. But anyway, with that being said, y'all, make sure you stay in the fight.